How's it going, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of NanoRel TV. So about a month and a half ago, Arizona was showing all the Harry Potter movies in theaters, and so of course I took the opportunity to watch them. And I even filmed a little bit of my experience, so here's a few clips from that.
I haven't seen these movies in the theaters since they were actually legitimately in the theaters. So earlier today I saw Sorcerer's Stone, and it's been since 2001 that I saw that in the theaters. I was playing the Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban Xbox video game the other day. Really random, I know, but I'm a nostalgic person. It made me realize, oh my gosh, I want to see this movie again. I want to see it on the big screen. And so they have the movies going for $5 a movie. I'm seeing this one with my little sister, Booba. That's not her real name, but we'll just say it's her real name. So here goes nothing. Just say hello.
Hello.
Product placement. How about you hold the drink and I'll hold the... Here's a question. Do you like popcorn with or without butter?
Without.
Me too.
Sorry,
butter makes me so sick.
Sorry, people that love butter, but no, that's not.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Oh, he's here. Yes, he's here.
Hey, is that Richard Parker from Life of Pi?
Yeah.
We just got out of Prisoner of Azkaban, and it was Brooklyn's first time seeing it. And what did you think?
Awesome. 10 out of 10.
Wow, 10 out of 10. I'd give it a 10 out of 10 too. Something that's cool is that not a lot of your classmates can say that they've seen this movie in theaters.
I thought he died.
You thought Buckbeak died?
Yeah.
And then you find out he doesn't die.
He doesn't die.
Something cool though is that your classmates, they can never say that they've seen Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban in theaters because they weren't alive yet, but you have.
I also thought
So that's kind of cool. She doesn't even care.
A black one.
A blackle?
What'd you say?
A black dog?
Yeah, black dog.
Oh, Sirius Black, the main character.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
So I was able to check out 6 of the 8 Harry Potter movies. I missed out on Chamber of Secrets and Half-Blood Prince, but I was just happy I was able to see 6 of them. They were also showing Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but I don't really care for that movie that much. It's not a bad movie, it just, to me, it'll never compare to Harry Potter. And while I'm on the topic of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, this is just going to be Harry Potter movies ranked. For all those who are wondering, if Fantastic Beasts was on this list, it would definitely be number 9. So it doesn't really make a difference anyways. And I'm not setting the new movie up for failure. I am excited to see it, but odds are that movie would also not even beat my least favorite Harry Potter movie. Now before I rank all the Harry Potter movies from worst to best, I have to throw out a clarification. I did the same thing for my Harry Potter books rated worst to best video. I love all of these movies. For some reason, in my last video where I talked about the books, I said I love all the books, but I got so much hate for saying Chamber of Secrets was my least favorite book. I still love Chamber of Secrets book, everyone. I promise. Like, pinky promise. That was stupid. And so even my least favorite Harry Potter movie on this list, I still enjoy. Every Harry Potter movie to me is a great movie. I just love being engulfed in the wizarding world, and I love the characters, I love the story, the nostalgic factor of it. All of it is amazing. So with that being said, even my least favorite movie is a really good movie still. Starting the list out at number 8 goes to Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I know, it's really weird. If any of you have seen my books ranked, Half-Blood Prince is actually my favorite book in the series, but for some reason the movie is my least favorite. I don't think a lot of exciting stuff happens in this movie. It's definitely a movie that's building up for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. We're learning more about Voldemort's past. We also are introduced to Horcruxes and the idea of them. And plus the 6th year of Hogwarts, it's a very kind of mellow year. Nothing too exciting and crazy happens. And so because of that, the movie has some slow moments in it, but there are still plenty of comedic moments as well. Like, call me strange, but I think it's really funny when that one Hogwarts student gets possessed and is like floating in the air. I find humor in that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of other really cool things about this movie as well. Like, Sectum Sempra is a really cool spell. I think Draco Malfoy, Tom Felton's performance, is probably his best performance of the series in this movie specifically because he plays such a big role in this movie. And plus, I mean, as always, Hogwarts is really cool too. Number 7 goes to Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I don't know what it is, but Goblet of Fire has always been one of my more lesser loved Harry Potter films, and I can't really put a real reason to it, except I can say that I think Ron is super annoying in this movie. Like, his angriness towards Harry is really just pathetic and stupid to me. And I've always thought that this scene is edited very strangely. Ron is just like chilling, you know, just looking around the room. Then suddenly he like looks up and he has this really evil look on his face. I've always thought that that was edited very strangely. And this scene where Crumb is chosen from the goblet, like what's up with the guy pounding on his chest like that? Plus, what if Mad-Eye Moody just straight up killed Hermione Granger as he's demonstrating the killing curse? As he's demonstrating it, what if he accidentally sneezed or something? He accidentally raises his wand up an inch and kills a Hogwarts student? That would have been terrible. This is also the first movie that is based off a larger Harry Potter Potter book, and so there are a lot of things left out of the movie that I kind of wish made it into the movie, but I'm not complaining too much. Number 6 goes to Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This is probably the most nostalgic Harry Potter movie for me, but I also think there are a lot of cheesy moments in this movie. For some reason, Rupert Grint's acting as Ron Weasley is like really over the top in this movie. Like the faces he makes, the things he says, I don't know what it is. I think he's a great actor in all the other movies, but this one he kind of overacts too much. Plus that whole scene where like Harry's being pushed back into the real world yelling Hagrid's name, really corny. But there are a lot of scenes that still hold up today, like the basilisk is still really sick. Also the Forbidden Forest scene where they see Aragog and the spiders and all that, still a really freaky scene. But yeah, the whole movie's just a little corny. Number 5 goes to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. From the moment the Warner Brothers logo shows and it's playing Hedwig's theme, I love it so much. I'm in the Harry Potter world. It's the beginning, it's the start of everything, and it is such a great movie. The casting choices for Harry, Ron, and Hermione were right on point, and they're kid actors, yet they do a really good job too. Like I even think that Rupert Grint does a better job in this movie than he does in Chamber of Secrets. I don't really know what else to say about this one. It's just a fun movie. Number 4 goes to Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. In my opinion, this is the most underrated Harry Potter film in the series. It has an amazing score to it. Specifically, I love the track Dumbledore's Army. It's the score that's playing as the students are slowly building up their army, as they're enlisting new students, as they're trying to find a place to practice their spells, and it's the music that plays as they're actually practicing their spells. Like when Hermione says it's sort of exciting to be breaking all the school rules. I love the entire idea of the students rebelling, forming a rebellion to go up against the Dark Wizards. And everyone talks about how dislikable Umbridge is, and I'm totally in on that. I totally agree, but I think that that actually works as a strength to this movie. You hate her so much that when the final scene pans out in the Forbidden Forest with her and she's taken away, you're just so satisfied that she finally got what was coming. Number 3 actually goes to the third movie, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This movie is just, it's so freaking amazing on a lot of levels. I think this was the first movie in the series to get a more of a darker tone. There's definitely a big tone shift from Chamber of Secrets to Prisoner of Azkaban, and you can see it. I mean, the entire feeling of the Dementors and the eeriness that comes with them is much darker than the first two movies. This movie also introduces a new score to it. Although it's still composed by John Williams, it has a completely different feel than the first two movies. The first two movies are Hogwarts is not the same without you, Hagrid. Whereas this movie is about a murderer trying to kill Harry Potter. But of course the twist in the end is we find out that he's not trying to kill Harry Potter and the whole thing was a lie. He was actually trying to kill Hermione Granger. Didn't see that coming. Plus I have to give credit to this movie for the best on-screen werewolf I've ever seen in my life. It's not your average werewolf. It looks different. I mean, yes, it's still a werewolf, but it just looks completely different than I would have ever pictured a werewolf to look like. It's intimidating, it's scary, and I think it's amazing. Time traveling is in this movie, which is really cool as well. But at the same time, I think it opens up the biggest plot hole to this whole entire series. Why don't they just use the time turner to go back in time and kill Voldemort? I don't know if it ever explains that in the books. If it does, can someone please leave a comment, because that's been bothering me for years. And I've read the books, of course, but I just don't remember it ever bringing that up again. The scene where Harry and Hermione are trying to get into the Whomping Willow is a super fun scene. Quidditch is a cool scene. Aunt Marge blowing up is a really funny scene. I mean, everything about this movie is just really fun, darker, and it totally works perfectly. So if you guys have been following, obviously there's two movies left, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Honestly, if I could say it, these movies are a tie for me. Just Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows in general, I absolutely love. But since this is a ranking, I will go ahead and put Deathly Hallows Part 2 as my number 2. I mean, it's an amazing finale. The Battle of Hogwarts is great to watch. It's also kind of a stab in the heart at the same time and a murder of my childhood, but you know, it's great. I mean, it's just my childhood being demolished. No big deal. I'm good. I'm okay. I've had some time to recover. I think the biggest con I have with this one is it feels a little bit rushed to me, but that's not necessarily a big problem I have with it. It doesn't take away from the movie at all, because I understand that Deathly Hallows was written as a ginormous script and they literally just cut the script in half. And so yeah, of course, there are going to be some scenes taken out. And what we do see in the Battle of Hogwarts is still really cool cinema. But I would have liked to seen a little bit more focus on maybe some characters' deaths, namely or and it also feels a little rushed compared to other movies. Like for an example, in Deathly Hallows Part 1, in the whole entire story of Part 1, they destroy one Horcrux, whereas in this one, I think they destroy somewhere around 4. But these are all just kind of nitpicky complaints. They don't ruin the movie for me. The 19 years later epilogue is bro, like that hits me. Like honestly, it's one of my favorite scenes of all movie history ever. And it's a farewell to my childhood. But if I were to name a #1 Harry Potter movie, it would be Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. This may come as a shock to a lot of people. I feel like this is one of the lesser liked movies of the series, but I absolutely love it. The entire idea of them being on the run, them being hunted, is so suspenseful and very eerie as well. I think a lot of people don't like this movie as much because of how often they're camping, but guys, they're on the run. Of course they're going to be changing locations a bunch. And it's funny because I think that if I look back at my book video, I think that was even one of my complaints, that I complained that it gets a little slow because of all the camping. I'm a changed person today. I am completely in on the camping. The camping scenes did kind of drag on. They camped a lot in this book. There were points where I was just like, okay, let's kind of move on. I definitely disagree with my past self. And also, was my voice really that high 4 years ago? That's like embarrassing. Anyways, I love the Seven Potters scene, but Hedwig's death is super sad. Like, why can't we just get another shot of Hedwig flying over the snowy mountains of Hogwarts and landing on Harry's arms? I was also a little annoyed of how casually they glazed over Mad Eye's death. It's kind of like in Last Jedi when they just casually say that Akbar died. I mean, it's not a big deal, but would have liked a little bit more build up for that. But, you know, whatevs. The Ministry of Magic scene is possibly the best scene of the whole movie when they're trying to get the Horcrux from Umbridge. It's very suspenseful, and it's kind of ironic because we're not even watching the characters that we know. I mean, obviously it's them, but just portrayed as different people. But it still is very suspenseful as you watch it. And the whole scene where, like, Ron is making out with Mary, I hate that scene a lot because it makes me very nervous as an audience member. I'm just, like, yelling at my screen, like, just get out. Forget Mary, forget anything about her. You're under attack and you're gonna die. Stop kissing her, just like run away. I really like this scene where they are running away and it like kind of zooms in on Ron's face and you can just see the terror in his face. And it's like a little bit in slow motion. I think that's a really well done scene. Rather than just showing them run away, it shows the terror on his face and that's awesome. It just adds more emotion to the scene. When they go to Godric's Hollow, I think it's either Christmas Eve or Christmas night, I can't remember. I think that is one of the strongest scenes of the entire series. It's a very emotional scene, but at the same time, you know right when they land there that something's very fishy, that something scary is going to happen. And I think it's also a scene where Harry and Hermione bond really well when they're in the graveyard and Harry sees his parents' graves for the first time. The entire scene of them running away from the Death Eaters through the forest as all you can hear are the spells and trees blowing up and Ron getting attacked by chains. That's a really well-crafted scene, I think. And of course, the climax at Malfoy Manor is very suspenseful, very crazy, and it's so dark too. Hermione getting tortured by Bellatrix Lestrange. That was hard to watch. And of course, Dobby dies, which is, I mean, super sad. I mean, at this point, I feel like Harry Potter, he's lost so many people that he loves, but Dobby's almost someone that he doesn't deserve to die. He's too innocent to die. And so when his death happens, it just like, it really hits you. I think that out of the whole series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 is definitely the darkest. It worked so well for me. Now, also, as I said earlier, if I could choose Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows as a whole, all 5 hours of it is my #1 movie because I just love these movies. But the entire series is great. Definitely leave your comments below on what you think of the series. Leave your rankings as well. I love to see them. And give me reasons of why you ranked them the way that you did. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.